Succession is an increasingly important topic in New Zealand, particularly because research shows that over 40% of businesses in New Zealand are going through some sort of transition or succession of ownership or management.
Key thing around succession is, and the reason that we're so passionate about it, is not only does it help families and owners realise the value of their business and life's work, but it's actually critical for the economy. We need good, thriving businesses and ones that are going to go on and grow and scale.
Many founders have set a business up around themselves where they are the focal point, the decisions still sit with them, the direction sits in their head.
Had no idea about even succession planning. As far as I was concerned, roll the sleeves up, go as hard as I could for as long as I could, and I burned out.
It's called letting go, and at the point you think you've let go, you still haven't.
It was probably one of the hardest things I did, and I look at other businesses and I can see it's one of the hardest things that owner-operators have to focus on, is to let go.
When you've sunk the majority of your adult life into a successful business that might be 20, 30, even 40 years or longer, this is a big part of their life. So first and foremost, it's respectfully acknowledging that and understanding and hearing that. So very much a process, it's an emotional one, it can be pretty challenging. It's one that requires courage and ongoing discussions.
Professional management isn't ever going to run the business the same way and do the same things as a founder would do. And that's always a hard decision for the owners to make. I think at that point it's about trust. To then let us run the business in a different way. We've had the freedom to grow this business, to realise the foundation that the founder had created, but actually see a better future for that business than probably they could have even imagined. If you want to know the subtext of why Link has been so successful, there it is in a nutshell.
You need to start thinking about it early because it is a process so that all parties are getting what they need to be able to get out of it. The first thing that we need to ascertain, or a person needs to ascertain when they're thinking about succession, is, are they ready for it?
I was the International Sales and Marketing Manager before I became CEO.
Moved from industrial coatings team into a sales role, and then to sales director, general manager and CEO. So across that 11 years.
I got a lot of coaching support and development support from Pivot and Pace, Greg Allnut in particular, to actually take that step up from working in the team to leading the company.
The succession was certainly talked about with Pivot and Pace and the board especially. So their involvement around the board and succession planning for George and me coming to the role, it was very well planned out. So I did a lot of external courses. I did the IOD directors course just to get that sort of board CEO relationship a lot stronger.
So it's having outside people who have seen it happen, pushing. And the strangest thing is, we as the entrepreneurs, we push back. Even though these people are applying what they have seen work. Yeah, it'd be like going to a ski instructor. When they say bends your knees, just bends your bloody knees. So if you can give up this noise of I can't, it won't, I'm too scared or whatever, it really does work.
It was a really useful process to go through from the personal development side. But what it did mean is when I was successful in the application as CEO, I went in with a real remit, knowing that I had a mandate to make some of the changes and to drive the company forward in the way I wanted.
It doesn't all need to happen at once, but largely you need to be able to formulate an idea of how it might look and then explore that as you go through. And it will evolve, accepting it will change and it will iterate over time. And I think good succession matures as you go through the process.
So you probe deeper and you go, so what are you going to do in your retirement or when you have more availability of time?
Sometimes it is hard for those founders to sort of let go and give some rope to such an important role like the CEO. Ken and the team have done a great job in sort of pulling that rope out from the founders and giving some parameters to work within, some goals and some KPIs.
And I set a goal to actually have a year off with my family and travel overseas.
When you get succession right, you are just freed up to a whole new future. You've probably been shackled to the business. Whilst you've enjoyed that, it's then what might you do with your family? What might you do to give back to a wider community after that?
Over those 5 years, I focused on how to build the business and build a team that could function without me being there.
So that's where the succession was. George could step back from the business, not out of the business, but back from the business, and it was still run without him because we've got a successful team. We know what we're doing.
I'm a surfer, so I'm embarking on a 3-month trip around Indonesia, and I'm pretty pumped about it.
The business is in a really, really good space. We've got a really strong leadership team, and we've got strong external partners supporting us as well. So it does allow George to have a holiday. In fact, before he was away, I hardly ever saw him. We catch up every fortnight, and that's about it.
Key here is not to leave it to an event in the future. It's start to explore what it involves.
But as far as the day-to-day, we don't see a lot of them in it, and it works well, and it works well for him as well, knowing that we've got his business in safe hands.
All the hard work's been done. I want the team to grow, and I want the time for myself, the space, the mental time for me to grow.